Hello guys, I hope you're doing well. Nowadays, a lot of people claim that a sitcom like Married with Children could never air today because it's way too offensive. And they are right. But a few days ago, I went on Google to find out what the most offensive TV show ever was. And I came across things like, obviously, Married with Children, but also That 70s Show, The Cosby Show, Scrubs, and even Friends. Guys, there are way more offensive TV show out there. Let me show you my favorite. A show so vulgar and so extreme in its tasteless humor that it would take a whole season of Al Bundy to match some of its episodes. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but you see what I'm getting at. Guys, let me introduce you to the French sitcom, H. The series started in 1998 and ended in 2002, after 4 seasons, 71 episodes, and a whole lot of very tasteless jokes. The entire show takes place in a hospital and at the bar, the Barbalone. The cast includes Aimé Césaire, my favorite character, played by Eric Judor, an actor you might know from the movies Wrong and Wrong Cops, where he acts alongside Marilyn Manson, among others. Aimé is a stretcher bearer at the hospital. He's a nice guy, but also a huge pervert, liar, manipulator, abuser, blasphemer, etc., etc. He pretends to be half North American, which is why he often speaks English. At least he tries to, because his English is absolutely ridiculous, but very funny. Here's how he says, "I intend to leave your daughter."
Listen to me. I have the intention to living room your boys in the hood.
For example, there's an episode where he meets a patient and tries to sleep with her, until he finds out she's a feminist who doesn't shave under her arms. And he doesn't know how to tell her, so to make her lose her body hair, he tricks her into thinking she has cancer and needs to undergo chemotherapy. That way, she'll lose her hair. Except he didn't consider the fact that she'd also lose the hair on her head. At one point, he has to prostitute himself, with men, and even gets raped by Eastern European rebels. Then there's Sabri Said, played by Ramzi Bedia. Ramzi is, in real life, Eric Judor's comedy partner, although he's unknown outside of France and Belgium. Sabri Said is also a kind man, and by far the dumbest character in the entire series, and in the world. In one episode, he takes an IQ test, and the result is 18. He doesn't understand anything and gets absolutely everything wrong, especially from the end of Season 2, when Sabri quits his job as a stretcher bearer to take over the Barbalone. There, his character takes a turn. He goes from being dumb to super ultra stupid. There's an episode where a famous prostitute is in the hospital, and Sabri wants to sleep with her. But he goes into the wrong room by mistake and ends up assaulting an elderly woman who was under anesthesia.
Voilà. Allez, au revoir mon ange. Hein? Mais la prochaine fois, essaie de pas t'endormir quand on fait de la sexualité quand même. Allez. Bonne nuit ma chérie. Je te laisse dormir. Au revoir. Je t'aime.
By the way, in one episode, he sleeps with Aimé's mother, his best friend's mom. To be fair, he didn't know it was his best friend's mother, but once he finds out, he keeps sleeping with her, even right in front of Aimé. Jamel Debbouze, played by Jamel Debbouze. This actor is a very controversial figure in real life. It has to do with a potential murder case. But we'll come back to that later. Jamel is a nervous character. Very vulgar, a big liar, and borderline aggressive. And of course, not very smart either. He works as the hospital's telephone operator. Then there's Professor Maximilian Strauss, the hospital's chief surgeon. He's a terrible doctor who kills most of his patients.
Depuis que vous m'avez opéré, je souffre atrocement. Il m'arrive de vomir du sang quand j'enfile mes chaussures.
He's a pervert, even worse than Aimé. He has relationships with women, men, animals, objects, and even children.
Ça me fait plaisir qu'on se retrouve seul à seul, hein?
Arrêtez de me regarder comme ça, vous êtes pédophile.
Non, t'inquiète pas. J'ai arrêté en même temps que la cigarette. Tu vois cette femme-là, hein? Avec les cuissardes. Bien, c'est Solange, mon ex-femme. Alors, contre cette vignette, Je te promets une nuit torride avec elle.
Ah, j'ai pas envie de coucher avec une vieille moche, moi.
Oh, petit. Elle t'apportera des plaisirs que tu ne connaîtras jamais.
He's a former criminal, including being a former pimp. He is also the nephew of Adolf Hitler.
Regarde là, c'est quand j'étais petit.
Non, s'il vous plaît, dites-moi, le petit moustachu, c'est Charlot.
Clara Solnier. She's one of the head nurses at the hospital. She's a former porn actress and prostitute, constantly depressed because no man wants to be with her. At least not for the long term. Throughout the entire series, she tries to sleep with absolutely every man who shows her the slightest bit of kindness. And she also constantly gets criticized for her appearance.
Si, ça va. Je viens de me faire larguer par Jean-Paul. De toute façon, je sais pas pourquoi je vous raconte tout ça, tout le monde s'en fout alors ce que je fous.
Non.
Si, on s'en fout. On s'en encore trop fout, même, on en a rien à foutre. On est plusieurs à s'en foutre, tout le monde s'en fout.
Non,
Il va pas, qu'est-ce qu'il a?
si.
Non, il est pourri, ça lui fait un cul plat, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? C'est la vérité, voilà. Eh, ça te fait un cul de chinoise, qu'est-ce que tu veux que je te dise?
In one episode, she accidentally gets implanted with a dog embryo and ends up giving birth to a puppy.
Je vous laisse.
Eh, mesdames. Allez, écoute, enfin.
Non, c'est pas marrant, je te jure que tout ce qui est sorti de ton corps aujourd'hui, qui se trouve dans cette pièce, c'est là. Je te jure. Ah, il veut retourner dans sa maison.
So, to find a good father for her baby dog, she starts a relationship with a dog. Beatrice Goldberg. She's a surgeon. She also gets hit with a huge amount of insults about her appearance throughout the series. However, she's only around for seasons 1 and 2. She leaves the show at the end of season 2 because she couldn't stand Jamel's lack of professionalism anymore. Insecure about her looks and lacking confidence, she still ends up finding a guy who cheats on her constantly, including with her best friend. She is there when Aimee gets shagged by the rebels, and she's sad because the rebels refuse to shag her too. Yes, this show has absolutely no sense of morality. The show is incredibly vulgar. In the sitcom Married with Children, Al made fun of everyone, especially overweight women. But those were just jokes. In the case of H, they're full-on insults.
Espèce de pute, voilà. Ah, connasse va, oui. Connasse rousse. Oh! La pute.
J'ai toujours pris pour une salope.
Toi et ta mère, qui est une pute.
Attends, j'ai dit ta mère c'est une pute? C'est pas possible, ta mère elle est morte. À la limite, j'aurais dit ta mère c'était une pute.
Oui, mais t'es prêt, on y va, je suis prête.
Pourquoi t'es habillé en pute?
Je suis pas habillée en pute, je suis habillée en maille à l'abeille.
Maya et l'abeille, c'était une pute!
And every episode includes lies from the characters, fraud, theft, betrayal, everything that goes against moral standards. And especially, the constant criticism of people's appearances is a recurring theme in the series. But despite all that, the show is also incredibly funny. The French language is used and twisted brilliantly. Sabri and Jamel are very dumb and can't speak properly, and the way they distort words is absolutely hilarious. Plus, a lot of the lines are improvised, and some of them are among the funniest I've ever heard in my life. It's worth noting that the three main actors did stand-up comedy before acting in H, so they're used to improvising a bit. And now, the murder case of Jamel Debbouze. Jamel grew up in a Parisian ghetto and got involved in petty crime at a young age. Fighting, stealing, extortion, assaults, and so on. When he was 14, he and a friend went to pick up a third friend, Jean-Paul Admet, the son of Réunionnais singer Michel Admet. While the three of them were walking along a railway track, Jamel and Jean-Paul were hit by a train. Jean-Paul died, and Jamel permanently lost the use of his right arm. That's why, ever since, Jamel always keeps his right hand in his pocket. For example, in this scene, his hand slips out of his pocket, and he quickly puts it back in. But let's get back to the death of Jean-Paul. Apparently, Jamel tried to steal Jean-Paul's coat. A fight broke out, and it may have led to the tragic train accident. Jamel was acquitted by the judge and walked out of court a free man. But to this day, many people believe he's a murderer. And in France, a lot of people really don't like him. That said, we'll probably never know the full truth about what really happened. In any case, I hope you enjoyed discovering this series, probably unknown to most of you. Dear viewers, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you'll be there for the next one.